Well, the intelligence community under President Obama rallying around James Comey tonight in the wake of that bombshell DOJ watchdog finding that the former FBI director set a, quote, dangerous example when he leaked his private conversations with President Trump. Former CIA Director John Brennan tweeting this at the president: Jim Comey is far more decent, ethical, honest, competent, and patriotic than you could ever hope to be. And former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper saying Comey actually did a service to the country.
I don't think there's a rule book, though, for this extraordinary situation involving potential, I emphasize potential, criminality of a president. And so Jim did what he thought was the right thing to do for the country. Now, one man's leaker is, another man's whistleblower.
Another man's whistleblower. My next guest says the new IG report only spells more trouble for James Comey. Republican Congressman Devin Nunes is the ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, it's always great to see you. Before I get to your point, and we will make that, I just want to kind of go back. You heard from Clapper and you heard from Brennan and you've heard from the political types. I was astounded during this whole thing after the Comey memo gate came out about the media and how they came to Comey's defense, saying that he was fighting the good fight. I want to play this soundbite from MSNBC and get your response on it.
The remarkable thing about this report is that the Inspector General of the Justice Department has effectively taken the position that if you're a law enforcement officer and the president tries to shut down a valid investigation, your obligation is to shut up.
That's an MSNBC legal analyst. Is it any wonder, in your estimation, Congressman, that the Peter Strzok's of the world and the James Comeys of the world think that they're doing good work, they're doing the right thing?
Well, Trace, what it reminds me of, people remember back in the day, during the Iraq War, right before Saddam Hussein was taken out, there was a guy who was his press guy named Baghdad Bob. If people remember that, this is like Baghdad Bob. All these guys are like, there's nothing to see here. Everything's going to be okay. I mean, like, in what planet do you have the former director of the National Intelligence Agency out there saying, well, one man's leaker is another man's whistleblower? What the hell is he talking about? I don't know. These people have lost their minds. And the press, going to MSNBC, these guys have been covering up for ages. Look, if that had been Condoleezza Rice or some Republican from the day, George W. Bush or somebody like that, they would be excoriating them. And that's what should happen here. There is no excuse for the top cop in the land to be this dirty.
In the Washington Examiner, Congressman, you called the IG report on Comey a building block for a criminal referral. Explain what you're saying there. So
we've sent over we've briefed the Department of Justice on 8 criminal referrals. 2 of those are involving conspiracy. So one conspiracy claim that we make is that they abused the FISA process, and in that process they conspired to do it and they broke a bunch of laws. So clearly, being that Comey was sent by the Crossfire Hurricane team, this is the investigative team that was investigating Donald Trump's campaign, he was sent in there in order to gather information from the president. So because of that, we now know for sure that Comey was part of that conspiracy, which I think is an important building block for the case if the DOJ can successfully bring a conspiracy charge against these cast of characters.
Bottom line you're saying is that James Comey is not out of the woods yet. Regardless of what happened yesterday, despite his defenders, he's not out of the woods by any stretch. No, what this is really about here is, we have the U.S. Attorney in Connecticut. The Attorney General has tasked him to look at all of this in its totality. And look, Trace, what I would do is people have to understand, sitting at their homes, what does this mean to them? Imagine having any law enforcement agency, okay? I'm not even saying somebody from the FBI or the director of FBI. Somebody comes and meets you at your house and they say, oh boy, we've got this information that you were with prostitutes in Moscow, okay? Now remember, at the time this happens, this is after 8 months of this dossier. This is the last possible thing that Comey knows the rest of the dossier is garbage, okay? They already have a wiretap on the campaign. And here you are going to brief the president on this crazy P-tape. Can't even say it, because it's so ridiculous. So here you have somebody sitting down with them, sitting down in your house, telling you, hey, I'm your friend, I'm with you, I just want to make sure that nothing happened in Moscow. And then later, they leak it to the press so it spills out all over the pages to embarrass you. I mean, think about that as an American citizen.
I just have to ask you, and I got to go, Congressman, but your fellow Congressman, Jim Jordan, Mark Meadows, they want to bring Michael Horowitz, the IG, up to Capitol Hill and let him testify. Good decision, yes or no?
I'd prefer to have Horowitz finish his entire report. After that, I think it would be good to have Horowitz come and testify. But remember, Republicans don't control the House of Representatives, so we don't get to make that decision.
Congressman Devin Nunes, good to see you, sir. Thank you.